I want you to imagine this. Welcome to the Sand Village, a town ruled by the Sand King, Azir. The Sand Village has a tax system very similar to the US tax system, and that's what they use to accumulate emeralds from its citizens. However, a certain company called Sand Retrievers decide to begin evading taxes and committing tax fraud. The owner, Dr. Villager, uses several different methods to evade taxes and pay less to the government. So today, let's explore some more financial crime. And welcome to Tax Evasion Explained through Minecraft. So to begin, let's define all of the terms under tax evasion. There's three main terms: tax avoidance, tax evasion, and tax fraud. Tax avoidance is using certain loopholes to pay less taxes, and they're actually perfectly legal. Many companies use tax avoidance strategies to pay less, but we will not be covering those today. We will only be covering the illegal counterparts, which is tax evasion and tax fraud. Let's bring Dr. Villager and Zero in to represent each one. Zero has accidentally committed tax evasion, but because it was an accident, it isn't considered tax fraud. Dr. Villager, on the other hand, is doing tax evasion on purpose and with intention. This is the difference, and that is considered tax fraud. It has much worse consequences. So all tax fraud is tax evasion, but not all tax evasion is tax fraud. Now that we know what the differences are, let's learn the ways of tax evasion. There are three that we will explore today: underreporting income, overstating deductions, and using offshore bank accounts. Let's start with underreporting income. When a person or a business files their taxes, they need to state every single income source that they get. Let's say that Sand Retrievers earned 50,000 emeralds, and the tax for the Sand Village is 10%. That means that the Sand Retrievers should be paying 5,000 emeralds to the tax collectors, or in this world we'll call them the Sand Taxers. However, Dr. Villager doesn't want to pay all of those emeralds, and so he decides to underreport his income, instead filing in his taxes that he earned 40,000 emeralds instead. This means that the Sand Taxers collect 4,000 emeralds instead, giving Dr. Villager more profits. This is one of the most common ways tax evasion is done, as well as unintentional tax evasion too. This is due to the fact that some people just forget about side jobs and side gigs and don't include them within their form. Now the second way that Dr. Villager can evade taxes is through overstating deductions. When Dr. Villager runs Sand Retrievers, he's going to run into costs that he must spend emeralds on. The Sand Taxes actually allow Sand Retrievers to spend those costs on the businesses without taxes. This is called a deductible business expense. Let's say that Dr. Villager wants to upgrade the drill that Sand Retrievers use, and that upgrade is going to cost 10,000 emeralds. The Sand Taxes will not require him to pay taxes on that upgrade. So now what if Dr. Villager says that the upgrade will take 15,000 emeralds, when in fact it actually costs 10,000, and takes the 5,000 for himself? He essentially made 5,000 emeralds without paying taxes on them. Now the last method to evading taxes is to use offshore banks to hide income and avoid tax laws. Let's say that there's a bank in the Snow Village that is particularly secret about the emeralds that they have. Dr. Villager sends part of his income to the Snow Village, as he knows they will hide it from the Sand Village, and he will then pretend like he doesn't have much income to tax from. The village that Dr. Villager wants to send his emeralds to is also ideally a tax haven, or a village that offers a much lower tax rate for foreigners, so he can keep as much of his money as possible. Now this kind of foreign banking and storing can be very legal. If Dr. Villager were to be transparent and report all of the emeralds that he sent to the Snow Village, it would be perfectly legal. But because it was to try and hide his income and avoid taxes, that is considered tax evasion. Now with these three methods, Dr. Villager is truly in deep water, and he has to be careful or Sand Taxers will catch him in the act. But how? What tools do Sand Taxers have to catch evaders? They have three main methods to doing so, and we'll explore those as well today. Those methods are cross-referencing, auditing, and using whistleblowers. Beginning with cross-referencing. This is when sand taxers take information about income from employers and third parties like escrows and compare it to your reported income. If Zero has a job at Sand Retrievers, sand taxers will get information about how many emeralds he was paid from there and compare it to the emeralds that he reported. This is usually done through computers that can file through millions of different taxpayers. This is the most traditional way of doing it, and this is what the IRS has also done for a very long time. Now, if Dr. Villager is suspected to be evading some taxes, the sand taxers can audit him to further investigate. An audit means that sand taxers will take a closer look at Dr. Villager, such as his social media accounts, transactions, and also take him in for questioning. If any of these methods don't line up with each other and there are certain discrepancies, there could be a serious case for tax evasion. However, going into the real world, the IRS doesn't really disclose this kind of stuff, and so we don't know exactly what they monitor when they audit someone. So it's therefore inconclusive. Now, the last method that sand taxers can use is information from whistleblower tips. Say that Zero, still working at Sand Retrievers, is aware of the tax evasion that Dr. Villager does. He has the option to give sand taxers a tip that this illegal activity is happening. When Zero does this, he is actually entitled to 15 to 30% of the emeralds that the sand taxers acquired due to the tip. So whether he wants those juicy emeralds or he just thinks it's the right thing to do, he may choose to tip off the sand taxers of this activity. And that's all there is to this video. It's really the sand taxers versus the sand retrievers in the end, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Taxing is an incredibly complicated system, but I hope you still learned something new. If you want more videos on taxes or financial crime, just let me know. Anyways, thank you for watching, best of luck with your studies, and bye bye.